Thanks for listening to the Marketing Evolved podcast with Jason Peterson, Holly Peterson, and Deidre Stevens. During this time, we'll bring you some of the current marketing stories and, as always, offer up a bit of our unsolicited advice for small and medium-sized businesses based on our industry expertise and knowledge. So a break rundown of our format for those that are unfamiliar with our podcast. We'll give you a quick refresh. Each segment is timed to make the best use of your time, topic, and to prevent us from scurrying down the rabbit hole of tangent land.
We will start with stories of the week. I will go first. I read a really interesting article on LinkedIn. I bet a lot of people, when they think of Nebraska, I think they think of Cornhusker football, just the Huskers in general. They don't really think about Warren Buffett, which Warren Buffett is up in Omaha, Berkshire, that whole thing. Anyways, last month was his big shareholder meeting, and Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, he is a big investor in the Berkshire Hathaway.
He's and their friends.
Yeah, and their friends. So he went to a Dairy Queen. And I really love, the article's called Warren Buffett's Upside Down Business Philosophy. And if you guys know this, a blizzard is typically served upside down, which that is just to show the anti-gravity of these soft serve ice. Yeah, exactly. And the quality. But when there, Bill really observed I would say the Midwestern hospitality that, here's this guy, Warren Buffett, that really has a simple approach to business. He's this mogul, but I watched the video of them at this Dairy Queen. Bless those customers. Obviously that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but they were like spilling ice cream and, really trying to be calm, cool, and collected. But really what Bill Gates said is every time he sees Warren, he is struck by his surprisingly insightful upside down view of the world. He thinks differently about almost everything. For starters, he credits his amazing success to something anyone could do. Warren said, "I just sit in my office and read all day." And so when thinking back to this at Dairy Queen, they really try to approach this upside down business philosophy with always, having a smile on your face when it comes to customer service. And I thought this would be really good for some of our listeners to hear, because when I watched this YouTube video, and I encourage everyone to read the article, you're seeing these two guys who have millions, billions of dollars, just finding the little joy in serving ice cream. And more importantly, that, Warren Buffett invested in Dairy Queen because he wanted to put his money where his mouth was, which is he loves ice cream. He loves the product. He invested in it. And then finally, that even some of these big business moguls really have the simplest business philosophies.
Well, so how do you think that applies to our businesses that we service?
In tense situations, we tend to overthink the strategy, tend to overthink the marketing plan or what's our next move, when sometimes we should just take a step back and really think hard about even the littlest things. And I think some of our best marketing plans as a team have been when the low-hanging fruit was just sitting right there. The simplest approaches.
Well, I think one of the things that Jason and I have always talked about since the beginning of when we started doing this is just, we can't help you unless you have a quality product that you stand by yourself. So I think if some of those nuts and bolts aren't in the right place to begin with, there isn't a heck of a lot you can do, and chances are at some point you will fail or start to have drop-offs as it relates to, servicing clients and customers and things like that. So I think if we're talking about looking at it from a simplistic point of view, that would be sort of in line with just that simplicity of putting a smile on your face or just being consistent in what you're providing, the quality, that sort of thing. Because, I think it, like you said, the nuts and bolts really have to be in place. You don't need to have a pie in the sky idea necessarily, but if you're fixing someone's problem and you're doing it in the best way possible, then you're gonna be successful at what you do.
I also really enjoyed this because it made me think of, I love the show, and this is going to say a lot about me, Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
For this very reason that, here's Warren Buffett, and he's probably served Dairy Queen ice cream before, but it was that mentality of he was really trying hard to think of the consumer and then how they're training. How are they training these ice cream connoisseurs.
But did he have a really sweet disguise on?
No, he
Was
didn't.
he dressed as like a young hipster?
No, they literally walked in. You can tell it was super staged because all of a sudden there's like no one in the store. Oh man, Warren Buffett, there you are. Yeah,
What?
so yeah, and here's Bill Gates who rolls up in his like really really nice car. It's like I really appreciated it.
But it was an important exercise. Jason, thoughts?
I love Warren Buffett because, and I think this relates to our philosophy, is he invests in companies he believes in.
Yes.
Very simple. And again, if he can't consume it, like again, he's known for having all of his marketing, or in this case, business meetings at Dairy Queen. I've read about that many times.
And doesn't he go to like and order the same thing from McDonald's like every
Yes.
single day?
I wrote that down. Everyone should check out his documentary. It's literally called The Warren Buffett Story of Warren Buffett. Super
That's really good. First and foremost, I love his philosophy because it does speak to just the block and tackle foundation of how businesses are successful. As it relates to us and how we help our clients, is we can't make the reality of a business. At the end of the day, they have to have that core foundation of values, commitment, passion, all that kind of stuff. So right now, more than anything, whenever we meet with clients, is as long as they have that, DNA where that's what they're about, then it's about of telling that story and just amplifying that message that, transcends just the fodder and the noise of, I'm better than everybody else. So his philosophy, Warren Buffett, is consistent with the kinds of companies and how they are successful in small businesses and how we help market them.
Well, it's consistent in how he lives his life too.
Correct.
I think that's really interesting, is that you can say anything you want when you're super wealthy because you can afford to, right? But he actually lives that out too, which is really fascinating. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen the documentary, I would highly recommend it. It's really interesting. Okay, Jason, topic of the day.
All right, so my topic today is, so Apple obviously is doing their big developers conference, and bear with me, this is kind of tech talk, but there's definitely a connection to the marketing side. So in all the stuff that they're changing and they're evolving and improving as far as the experience on iPhones and iPads, one of the biggest complaints right now and the frustrations is that iPhones and iPads specifically, the web browsers are not desktop like. They don't have the same features. They're more or less a mobile browser. Just a few minutes ago, before I came, I was trying to use Google Analytics, and it just doesn't work on Safari or Chrome on an iPad. So that can be really frustrating for people. That's going to change. So coming out here in the fall, all of a sudden, all the iPads are going to have the same kind of browser that has the same capabilities as you would have on like a laptop or a desktop. So again, I think the biggest thing that we see is clearly the experience of the end user and how they use their mobile devices. And the reality is the mobile devices have had some limitations on how those browsers work, and that's going to significantly change on the tablet side. So that's a good thing. So I think just for us, we're always sort of paying attention to the experience of how do people consume the internet. And it used to be 90% desktop, and now it's in some cases 50 to even 70% is on mobile tablet. So I like it. It may sound trivial. For us, we're always watching for how are people using the internet and how does the technology make it easier. And I think this is a good improvement that most people aren't talking about.
All right.
Go for it, Holly.
Like how your bell is always timed perfectly for the end. All right. So my topic actually is travel. Jason and I and the kids are getting ready to go off to Yellowstone here, not before long. And so it's kind of at the top of my mind. And I know it's at the top of a lot of people's mind, just as they're doing some summer traveling, whether it's like a road trip situation or whether you're taking an extended vacation. So one of the things I wanted to talk and look at today was just basically getting some feedback and having some conversation about some of the best apps out there to make your life easier as you travel. And there are a few that are on my radar that were not on my radar previously. I am a big list person, and it's imperative, especially as a mom, that I end up essentially packing our entire household. Everybody's able to do their own bit, but mom always remembers all of the, glue type things that make everything go cohesively. And so one of the apps that got really good reviews out there that I'm going to try this year is called PackPoint. Have you guys ever heard of that? But it's basically, it's for travel. It's really for any sort of list, but with the concept that you don't forget anything. And you literally, if you're a list person, you can make your list and then check it off as you go through it. So that is one that our listeners could consider. Another one, another few that I had not heard before was City Mapper. This one is kind of cool in the sense that it's very specified for wherever it is that you're traveling. And it provides information just about that locale. So there's a bunch of different features and tooling that you can do within the app itself. But, it has everything from handicap accessibility information. So if you need to know that as far as maneuvering around a city, you can look at those things. Talks about, gives you super routers, so different options, whether you're walking, biking, a little similar to maps, but just more robust for people who are traveling to an unknown city. And then the next one that I had never heard of before, which I found was pretty cool, was called Sky Scanner. You heard of that one?
No.
Okay. Well, it is another travel app as well, and it's kind of focused more on affordable options. So basically, if you're willing and able and you want to kind of travel, this actually could be great for you and Kevin, but if you have like a budget in mind, it actually works within your budget. So it can actually pull up options within that budget based on if you're needing a hotel, if you have to fly, that sort of thing, rent a car. And it says, okay, well, here are some options that could be good for you with a little bit of flexibility if you have a little bit of give on either end of your budget. So that's kind of cool too. Because most apps, it's all about, I need to fly, I need the hotel, but then it's just whatever their prices are, and you have to kind of deal with that and figure that out on your own. This one actually works within a budget. So that's pretty cool, I thought. Comments?
When it came to the list one, it made me think of we in my family we use AnyList. You ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that's one we use. That one sounds very detailed, which for packing, I absolutely love that. Especially like you guys making a road trip, packing for that is great. And then for me, when I've traveled up to Omaha, not very far, I will plug 4-minute Facebook events. I will say that since Facebook has made their updates, even the last year, the interface when it comes to finding events or what's going on in that local area, I've really enjoyed that a lot. Even try to do that here in Lincoln, but I've done a lot in Omaha as well. Just because you also don't know what's going on, so you could
or spur of the moment even.
Right, you could be traveling, you're like, oh, what's all these people doing here? I think it's a lot. For me, it's easier to find out via Facebook than almost Googling it, because Googling, you're gonna get a whole
rando.
Yeah, you're gonna get a whole bunch. But no, those sound like really great ones, and I'm still thinking about planning a trip, so you're putting that in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the Skyscanner one if you got a budget in mind. PackPoint was kind of cool too, because like, say for example, I take our kids to the pool, there are specific lists that are already prescribed as well. So if you say going to the swimming pool, then it'll populate a whole list of things that they think you would need.
Oh, sweet.
You can get rid of them if you're like, I don't need that. But then you don't even have to go through the thinking process either. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I get it. Just to me, or what I think is cool is the apps. Like a lot of people ask, is iPhone or Android better, vice versa? Honestly, the phones are a wish-wash. I mean, it's pretty much even Steven, but frankly, it's the apps that make the experience. And I'm amazed with the millions of apps that exist that they continue to find them and make them more intelligent, more helpful. So, yeah, I had not heard of those, but I think that's pretty sweet.
Pain points, they're fulfilling the need.
Exactly.
You got to experience some pain.
What pain is the consumer experience?
As we talk about all the time.
I'm trying to look through my phone right now if there's anything from traveling that I could recommend, but no, I think those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Just like you guys are saying, though, just maybe do your research before you travel. I know that was when I went abroad, that was a really good thing to do. So
Sweet.
there you go.
All right.
All right, we're on to listener questions. Thank you, Ron, for this question. How do you see voice/home assistant products like Alexa, Google Home, the portal from Facebook changing the marketing industry? Should small businesses be aware of this?
Great question.
Thank you.
Do you want to approach
Ron.
that, Jason?
Okay, so I guess my first take is I don't know if, based on the business, if it's a service business, I'm not sure there's an immediate benefit to worrying about some of these smart home devices. Now, if somebody's selling a product as it relates to on the home services front or consumers, clearly, the whole smart home thing or Internet of Devices. But I think a lot of this stuff probably is not as much into the marketing realm because it's kind of bleeding edge. But with that said, I know one of the things I watch a lot is the skills or the things that Alexa adds over time. And that's, to me, just like the apps on the phone, is the better those become, the more likely people will use it. I know for us, even, we are not using our Alexa very much just because, other than checking for the weather, there's just not a lot of things that we.
Lydia checks the weather every morning.
Or the trivia or different things. Like, you know what? That's not really that
They
helpful.
do stories.
They
sometimes.
do stories. They can do some news. I mean, again, we don't have a smart home, but marketing-wise, I don't know if they've figured out how to do that. But with that said, I would not be shocked in the next 3 to 5 years, if not sooner, that you'll start to see a marketing angle that will occur. And for us, when that starts to become a trend, that's when we're going to start giving insights and help to our clients.
I mean, I suppose I can see some accessories that could be good. Like, for example, I would like to have the little mini Amazon TV that sits in my kitchen so that while I'm cooking, like if I want to pull up digitally a recipe or something like that, rather than like fiddling with my phone or whatever, and it'll actually like read it off to me. Or I can even watch a tutorial, someone actually doing a video of it as I'm doing it myself if I have any questions. So, or if I want to look at the latest headlines or news while my kids are off watching XYZ show of their own, it kind of provides a little bit of flexibility for me there. So, I mean, there are some products that maybe would not have been as interesting for me before that are actually piquing my interest now, and it's purely from a function standpoint and convenience.
That's a good point. That's actually a good idea. I mean, again, to me, there's where if those devices, like we have the Google Hub upstairs that we haven't used that much at Generate, is if they're delivering content, then you could be part of contributing content where you're, again, I mean, I like the recipes, advice, different things like that, or you're fixing the home, so people that are, handymen and stuff.
It would allow me to tap into my Prime shows as well. So like we have our Prime membership. There are shows that you don't care about, Jason, and the kids, well, I'm not going to watch them with the kids anyway, for whatever reason. But if I wanted to sit there and watch them while I'm cooking, even with like my earbuds on or something like that, I could totally do that. And it makes me feel like I'm multitasking, but also doing something that I enjoy while I'm also doing a menial task that just needs to be done. And I could even be doing that while I pack for a trip or making my list. So like there's just some functionality and convenience that exists now with some of those products that I would sure want to tap into, I think, at some point here.
So what I need to do for you is I can convert our Amazon Fire HD and mount it there so you can have exactly what you want right now.
Well, I don't know if I want it mounted, but that's a whole other conversation.
We can talk about it. But there's a way to convert these tablets and actually do it that way.
Well, and that's really all the little Amazon TV is. It's like a little tablet. It's just like, I don't know, yay big. So it's nothing obtrusive by any means. But
and it's cost effective. So
I would say in a perfect world, I agree with Holly. I would love the function of like in my kitchen, I have the kind of TV screen one, but then in my living room, I may have like just the Alexa speaker, and then in my bedroom, I have like the alarm clock one. I love that. But I think Amazon has failed in their marketing to places like Nebraska. If I lived in New York City and I had that at my disposal and could have things, shipped directly to me, or hey, I could go to, when I was in Seattle, I went to one of their Amazon Go stores, which was a whole nother world. Mm-hmm. I think they're great in tapping into those markets.
Yeah. They
have not done a good job here because honestly, even when I do one day shipping to here, it still costs, I think Amazon is getting somewhere, and I agree with you. I think in 3 to 5 years, the marketing industry is definitely going to have to make a shift to, okay, people went from being on their computer to now they're not really even on the computer, they're on their phone, and to then they're just going to rely on a home assistant, basically.
Yeah.
I love the aspect of it having it all connected. That is why personally, I have all Mac computers because I love that everything connects. And so I love that with Amazon and Google, but I think they have failed in the sense of
ease of use.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to purchase those items right now and put those up in my apartment for Kevin and I to use when it's just cheaper for me to go to the grocery store down the street. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm missing that little connection. And maybe as Amazon grows and they're noticing a need, they will expand. But
Well, I mean, like if I'm talking about using something like that while I'm standing there cooking,
Yeah.
I go to grab something, realize I'm out of it. Duh. Why don't I say, Alexa, please order this?
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily, like you said, living in Lincoln, Nebraska, have that super convenience as maybe someone in New York would.
Mhm.
So, yes, there are a lot of features that we aren't technically able to tap into yet
Mhm.
that I know Amazon is working hard to fix that because that's just money in their pocket. And let's face
Yeah.
it, a lot of our, purchases, especially online, are compulsion. I mean, it's
Oh.
just
no.
because it's easy and we can and it's less expensive
Well,
sometimes.
And I'm telling you what though, if they up that service and then make the Prime Video a little bit more robust and just, use the Fire Stick or whatever, I might cut Netflix and Hulu. I think if they can really figure out, I know it's hard to see the future, but if they can really hone into what do their consumers want moving forward, they could
Yeah.
they could take over in a lot of easy ways.
I just thought of a way that actually does tie it into local. So the problem with Amazon is they have no connection to the listings of businesses and services. They are completely inept there. Now, Google does. One of the things that Google Assistant and Apple's tried is imagine we have a massage therapist. So you could book something through conversation with an assistant, or you want to order movie tickets. So to me, it's the interaction. I know Google is developing technology where it will call on your behalf to do these things. So I feel like that it's in our services-oriented environment with our clients. If you got to the point where you could basically have that virtual interaction versus going to the website, that's game changer then. Problem is, that's not Amazon. Amazon has absolutely no integration
It's
whatsoever
more
with...
mechanical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's more smart home devices products. But the better chance of services interaction is most likely Google. They're the ones that have all the business listings and what they do and their websites. So that information, on that regard, the Google Assistant could be way, way, way more useful. So again, I'm just thinking out loud because I agree. Until you talked about this, I'm like, how would this help our clients? But if that was part of it, whoa, then it is like
Well,
any
and some of
clients.
those services could be more,
Yeah.
that compulsion kind of just convenience selection too. Like, oh gosh, I do need a massage, and you're having pain right in the moment, and you just get it done, as opposed to, oh, you wake up, I'm feeling pretty good today. It's all good. I'll wait a few more weeks. You know what I mean? Like, you could really start tapping into that even from the services standpoint.
Imagine you pay AdWords for Premier Results. If you say, hey, I'd like to book a massage, and they say, okay, here's the top 3 options you could pick from in Lincoln, Nebraska. Here's their ratings. Boom, you pick that. Or I want to get my carpets cleaned. Same thing. So the AdWords approach could be applied to the results given in that conversation versus just a website. So, yeah, you're right.
Food
It's
for thought,
food
Google.
for thought. It's not
I
quite
think it
there, but man, that would be sweet
It's
if you
going
could
to
do
be
that.
like Clash of the Titans because you're talking about Amazon and Google. Those are two companies that don't mess around. And I bet Google has already thought of that.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
AdWords,
I'm sure they have.
So, but it's going to be, I would say there's this bubble, this sweet bubble of 3 to 5 years where you're really going to see, the connectivity if Amazon's going to step up or whatever. So, I don't know. I will be curious. I'm happy for this question, though. I think right now, though, like you said earlier, I don't think businesses right now
No, it's
have
not
a
there.
whole lot to worry about. If anything, I guess from a business standpoint, if you're looking for something to maybe help you with list items or whatever in your
Yes.
storefront, I don't think that's bad if you want a little Alexa to keep you, because I will say it's a nice thing to have. Or
Create
Google.
your own efficiencies. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I know that
So-
with KLAN, they can do a listen to, the Jack Mitchell stuff. Okay, boom. Then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it'll play.
Right.
So
So if you want one for internal efficiency, I'd say try it out.
Okay.
All right, question of the day. This is where everyone gets to know us better. Since I talked about Mr. Warren Buffett and Dairy Queen, and it's summertime, what is your favorite ice cream flavor, Jason and Holly? I think this says a lot about a person if you tell us your ice cream flavor. Your favorite one.
Well, okay, for those that don't know, I've had food allergies my whole life. So initially, there was no options for ice cream. Now, fast forward till now, holy cow, there's all kinds of non-dairy options that taste delicious with coconut. I just found out recently that Ben & Jerry's makes non-dairy ice cream. Bottom line is, I don't even know what to do with myself because there's so many great options. But if I
I
had to
know
pick
what he knows
one-
what to do with himself. He buys it and then he eats the whole dang
Yeah,
thing.
so I buy
That's what he
3.
does. He knows perfectly well.
But if I had to pick one, I would say like either the cookie dough one where you get like the cookies and cream with cookie dough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my pick.
And you like the Ben & Jerry's brand?
Yeah, right now, if anybody's trying to find a non-dairy option that tastes delicious, Ben & Jerry's, you can buy it at Target, Whole Foods. That's the places I've seen them. There you go.
Well, folks, I am not much of an ice cream fan.
Oh.
Sorry. But if I would have to say I like froyo, so like soft serve froyo kind of thing. And if I do that, I generally like kind of like a coffee flavor or like peanut butter. I'm sorry. Those two are the best. So those are my favorites.
Ooh, well, I am the ice cream queen. I could eat ice cream all day, every day.
Are you the Dairy Queen?
Wow.
So I'd have to say, like,
Cheeseball.
if I had to break it into, I mean, my all-time favorite is definitely chocolate chip cookie dough. Shout out to local Ivana Cones cinnamon ice cream.
Oh, it is good.
Abs-
They have a good cinnamon.
And I love in the summertime to bake a zucchini bread that I put cinnamon in, and then you should get that warm out the oven, put some of that cinnamon ice cream on. You're golden.
She has a whole thing going on for people.
And then my last plug is I was at Target, and do you guys know the tasty videos? Like they make the 30-second videos
Yeah.
on Facebook. Well, they've gotten into branding products now. So they've
Shocker.
got, I know. So they got like cookware and all that, but they're getting into food, and they just came out with a Galaxy ice cream. It's basically like
Sounds like an explosion to me.
it's basically like a birthday cake.
Okay.
Kind of, but I don't know. I can't even really explain it. And then to top it off, I put magic shell on it because I am a magic shell queen. I told you I love ice
actually
cream.
can have
Sounds like
magic
my
shell.
worst nightmare.
Magic shell?
What?
You don't like magic shell?
No. I'm just saying that whole combination because I'm not an ice cream
Oh,
fan. So it's just.
I'll never forget when I was a young girl and my mom showed me magic shell for the first time. And I was like, for those who don't know what magic shell is, it is chocolate syrup that you put on cold ice cream and then it liquid.
And it hardens.
And it hardens in like seconds. And then it is just, oh, you crack it open with that spoon for the first time.
And it's non-dairy. I can have it.
Oh, were you
Boom.
investigating?
I
You're gonna
actually,
dump
when I
that
was
on your
younger,
Ben and Jerry's?
When I would have ice cream in
Oh,
college, I
Deidre,
would do that.
you created a monster.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you very much.
I'm sorry. I love ice cream so much.
You need to have an ice cream podcast.
I'm one of those people that like, if I see something interesting, I'll try it. Before our final thought, make sure you follow Generate Marketing on all the social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn at Generate Marketing, and then on Instagram and Twitter at Generate Lincoln. Any final thoughts?
Be safe as you travel out there over the summer, guys.
Spade and neuter your pets.
No, that's a definite one
That's
for sure.
That's a good
It's
one.
important.
Yeah, have a good summer, guys.
Oh yeah.
It'll go fast.
Bye everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks a
Bye.
lot.